past that, that's when someone has a right to be released and should really have an attorney. If it's getting close to that time frame, they should really have an attorney on call to look at fighting that and getting them out, because if they get out and then don't get automatically transferred to ICE, it's much more likely that they're not going to be in ICE custody. But if they get detained in that period, they go straight to ICE after being in county jail. So somebody's been charged with a crime. There are some crimes, not all crimes, that will have significant consequences for immigration cases. Whether somebody already has status or whether they're applying for status, these can keep them from being able to have that status or can make them deportable. And so it's really important that any person who is not a citizen who has any criminal charge consult with an immigration attorney. In addition to their criminal attorneys, defense attorneys have the obligation to inform immigrants of the consequences, the immigration consequences of a criminal charge. They're not always as great at it as they should be. Sometimes they just totally skip over that duty, or they try, but it's not their area of expertise. So we recommend that they have a consultation with an immigration attorney. And often we will, when our clients are detained, we will work with their public defender very closely to try to see what works best for their criminal and immigration case at the same time. And this is really important because people will think of, if they're just getting probation, that it's not a problem, or if it's something that will get expunged later on, it won't be a problem. Or some things that seem really minor can be really big for immigration. One of the things is anything related to stealing. Even if it's something small, there is it's called a crime involving moral turpitude, is how it's written in the law, and has gotten defined in case law very broadly. But one of the things, anything involving fraud. So depending on how the statute's worded, if somebody was convicted of some theft, it could be something that could keep them from becoming a citizen, or keep them or have them be deportable. So if a parent is out and about, and whether at work, whether driving, and they're detained, if they're a single parent or both parents are detained at the same time, it's very important that they have had a plan of who to care for their children in these circumstances, because if there is nobody to care for the child, CPS could get involved and take temporary custody of the children. In the booklets that I'll get to now, we have some sample power of attorneys forms that people can fill out, and they do need to be renewed every 6 months, or just signed again with a new notary. This is an appropriate use of a notary, just to notarize the signature. But that will allow that person to provide medical care for their child, to enroll them in school, do things that they need to do. And they can be limited if a person wants it to be a smaller scope of what that person can do in care of their child. You can write a power of attorney however you wish. There can also be power of attorneys for financial dealings or other things that if they need to happen. If someone owns a business, they may want to do that for their business matters, or make sure someone is able to pick up those issues and care for those things while the person is detained. So remembering the right to remain silent, the right to review an arrest or search warrant, and the right to talk to an attorney, the right to make a phone call, with the nuance that at some point the phone calls do cost money in our local facilities, and the right to notify an embassy or consulate. So that is all I have for the Know Your Rights, but I'm definitely open to any questions, broader questions. I don't know how we're, looks like 10:09, so do we have till 11? Mm-hmm. So I'm happy to kind of go more in depth on anything. This is just kind of the general we thought you might be interested in hearing about, but I'm happy to talk about anything else, or if no one has any questions with the group, we can wrap up, and I'm happy to talk to any one person individually. Anybody have any questions or anything they'd like me to talk more in depth about? Okay. Well, seeing none, then I will wrap up, and I'll hang out around out here a little while longer. So.